Clearly, Senator Michael Bennet and Representatives Markey and Salazar need to read Henry Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson. Welcome to Free Colorado News. I'm Ari Armstrong. The latest Rasmussen polls show that Tom Tancredo has come within 4 points of Democrat John Hickenlooper. Meanwhile, Senator Michael Bennet has come within 2 points of Republican challenger Ken Buck. So why is Buck having such a hard time maintaining his lead? For one thing, Buck is being continually attacked on abortion. For example, my wife, who is registered unaffiliated, was sent this attack flyer against Ken Buck. The flyer rightly says that Ken Buck opposes abortion, even in cases of rape and incest, and he's against emergency birth control, even though Buck has backed away from some of his comments against birth control relative to Amendment 62, the so-called personhood measure. However, the flyer also contains a cheap shot about a case of rape that Buck declined to prosecute some years back, when in fact there wasn't sufficient evidence to prosecute that case. The Colorado Springs Gazette editorial has a nice background of this story, as does Chunk Plunkett of the Denver Post. However, there's a new story about Ken Buck. David Gregory of NBC's Meet the Press asked Buck about homosexuality. He asked, "You don't think it's something that's determined at birth?" Buck answered, "I think that birth has an influence over it, like alcoholism and some other things. But I think that basically you have a choice." But likening homosexuality to alcoholism implies there's something inherently destructive about both. It is a choice, influenced by genetic predispositions. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the choice. Being heterosexual is also influenced by genetics. The problem here is that there is a pattern that many voters are rightly beginning to see. Rather than concern himself with fiscal responsibility and individual rights, Buck seems to be easily distracted with faith-based politics. And Buck seems to be going out of his way to energize Michael Bennet's base. I'm still voting for Buck, but he's not making it easy for me to do so. Contrast this with Stephen Bailey running for Congress against Jared Polis in the Boulder region. I will proudly and enthusiastically vote for Stephen Bailey. Anders Ingemarsson is leading the Ayn Rand Institute's Book for Teachers project here in Colorado. As of October 16th, he had raised over $18,000 for this project, and his goal is $20,000. For details, see frontrangeobjectivism.com. Next up is the Democrats' view on the so-called stimulus bill. Curtis Hubbard of the Denver Post reports about Michael Bennet that his view of the stimulus package is that it saved us from getting into a second Great Depression. David Bose of the Cato Institute reports about Representative Betsy Markey. She said, "Every economist from the far left to the far right was saying the government needs to step in because there was absolutely no private sector investment." Bose points out that Markey's statement is simply false. Plenty of economists oppose the stimulus, and they have been proved right by history. The Pueblo Chieftain reports about John Salazar. He said, "Our economy was in the ditch, and you're complaining about the big tow truck we needed to pull it out." Clearly, Senator Michael Bennet and Representatives Markey and Salazar need to read Henry Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson. Then they would realize that forcibly transferring wealth from some people to others does not create jobs. Instead, it destroys jobs in some segments, creates politically correct jobs in other segments, all the while creating uncertainty in the marketplace. Check out my book about Harry Potter's heroic fight for values at valuesofharrypotter.com.